Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPad 9th generation and compare it against the iPad Air 5 and see which particular iPad is the better one for you. Now, if you have all the money in the world, clearly the iPad 9th generation may not be the best one for every single person out there, meaning the iPad Air 5 is probably going to be giving you the better experience for the everyday person, and that is kind of the one that I'd recommend a majority of people to go and buy. That one is definitely going to be the best one, year over year over year. But I will tell you, with a device like the iPad, Air 5, this is a very good iPad for a little bit more money, but you're going to be getting, better capability in almost every single way. But the iPad 9 is still a beautiful iPad. I still recommend people to go and buy, and, you cannot go wrong with either one. I'll leave both these linked down in the description so you can get them from there. You can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices, the first thing to keep in mind is that when it comes down to the exterior, they're very different. The iPad 9th generation, which came out back in 2021, on the front has a 10.2-inch Retina IPS panel. So it's it's a good sized display. It's a little bit smaller than the iPad Air 5, but the dimensions are pretty big and it's definitely not a bad panel. I think this type of panel on this thing looks very, very good. If you're going to go and pick up a device, I think this is a very good looking device for the most part. And I do think, like I said before, if you're going to go and pick up an iPad, it looks very, very good. With iPads like this, you're going to be getting a home button at the front, Touch ID 2. You're going to be getting thick bezels around it, but I love these types of iPads and I think they look and feel very, very good in today's day and age. On the iPad Air 5, on the other hand, a little bit of a different story. This one's a 10.9-inch liquid Retina display. You're going to be getting a bigger size display. It's going to be nicer too. And you're going to be getting this anti-reflective coating on that particular iPad as well, which again is a very, very nice thing to have. If I'm going to go through and pick up a device, definitely the iPad Air 5 is going to be the better one here. You're going to be getting substantially better looking, device, thinner bezels around it, no home button, all gestures, and it's definitely a better looking device than the iPad 9. The iPad 9 also has a lightning port at the bottom, where the iPad Air 5 has that USB Type-C port, which in and of itself is a very cool thing to have. I love having USB-C, and you're going to be getting that type of capability on this particular iPad, which at the end of the day is another very, very nice thing going on for that particular device. Flat sides on the iPad Air 5, which supports Apple Pencil 2, which is a very nice thing. I love Apple Pencil 2, and you're going to be getting that support on that particular iPad as well. On the backside, you're getting a single camera setup on both, Apple logo in the center, and overall, good looking iPads, but definitely the iPad Air 5 is the better looking one in almost every single way you can imagine. Now, on top of that, some other big things to keep in mind. I will tell you, when it comes down to the camera side, this is also a slight difference. So on the backside, you're getting an 8 megapixel wide-angle camera on the iPad 9, whereas on the iPad Air 5, it's a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera. So, you're getting some capability there, which is really nice. 4K video on the back of the iPad Air 5. iPad 9 has the 1080p camera. And even from that standpoint, I'll probably tell you the iPad Air 5 is going to be a substantially better camera here as well. But on top of that, when it comes down to the front cameras, you're going to be getting an ultra-wide camera on both, which is nice, with center stage capability as well. So this in and of itself is another very cool thing that you're going to be getting on both. And that's another really nice thing that I have and that I love the capability on both at the end of the day. Now you're going to be getting basically, same video resolution stuff, for the front cameras, I think, but for the most part, they're good sensors overall. And definitely if you're going to pick up one, the iPad Air 5 is going to be better here as well. When it comes down to the software longevity, I don't know which one's going to be lasting longer, but I'm going to make an estimate that probably the iPad Air 5 is going to be the longer lasting one, because that one is going to be giving you that M chipset. Having that M1 chipset inside of that particular iPad is going to be giving you a longer lasting device when it comes down to it. And that's just kind of what ends up happening. But I would, that's kind of a big thing to keep in mind. I would hate for you to go ahead and buy something like the iPad Air 5 if you were expecting that iPad to maybe last as long as the, iPad 9 generation. And the case is that the iPad 9 is probably not going to last as long as the iPad Air 5. So keep that in mind. I think at the end of the day, that's just kind of what ends up happening when you're getting these types of devices. So keep that in mind. Again, not the biggest deal in the world, but just one of those small things to keep in mind there as well. Now, on top of all those things, another big thing to keep in mind here is the performance. So the iPad Air 5 is going to be giving you better, performance overall. It's going to be giving that M1 chipset with quite a bit of RAM inside of it. With the iPad, 9th generation, this one is just pretty much not going to, be as performance heavy. It has the Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with less RAM. So when you're getting in, and when you're put into a situation like that, you're going to be getting a device that's going to be, at a performance level, it's going to be able to perform higher on something like the iPad Air, 5, and the performance is going to be better on that device as well. So I'd hate for you once again to go and buy a device like that particular one and expect to get, great performance performance if you're not really going to be getting that here. So I think in that particular panel or in that particular side, I definitely do think the iPad Air 5 is going to be giving you an overall better experience from there as well. And overall, what I'll definitely tell you is, I think if you're going to look at both of these particular iPads, I definitely do think an iPad like the iPad Air 5 is going to be the better one in almost every single area. That one is the one that makes a lot more sense for me to recommend to people. And then, if you're going to pick up a device, I would probably just recommend going through and buying that one rather than the iPad 9. I think the iPad 9 still has a lot of capability and a lot of quality, and I still think it's a very good iPad. But if I'm going to go and pick up one, it's definitely going to be something like the iPad, Air 5 over the iPad, 9th generation. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.